So yeah, it's a bit less warm in that box.
Hello, welcome to Pink Witch. My name is Jane Goldman, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about how this project came to be. And then I'll read a couple of poems, and also you'll notice that there are several contributors, not all of us are here today. We're all members or friends of the collective 12, the collective of Scottish women writers. And this is our anthology called Pink Witch. This is how it came about. Because we're both what I would describe as PB feminists, like pre-Barbie feminists, we already know about that stuff before we watched the film. So we were both, I think, looking for a cause to get involved with, and so we decided to launch the campaign. This is a chance aside by Zoe Benditozzi in a question and answer on how she and Claire Mitchell Casey launched their campaign for justice for people accused and convicted under the Witchcraft Act of 1563 to 1736. And this aside really got me thinking. Then at the same time, this is just last September, watching Greta Gerwig's box office smash Barbie in the same month got me drawing parallels between two spectres, one ancient, the other more lately come, that haunt contemporary women and continue to do us violence. That is the name witch and the Barbie doll. Am I either of those names? I thought of Silvia Federici's brilliant work, Caliban and the Witch, Women, the Body and Primitive Accumulation of 2004, and of Denise Riley's equally brilliant foundational work, Am I That Name? Feminism and the Category of Women in History, of 1988. And in attempting to answer my question, I wrote a poem. Then I shared it with other poets in 12, a collective, along with this prompt. Watch the film Barbie, research the Witches of Scotland campaign, which you can go to there's a website, which I urge you all to go and look at, and write poems that simultaneously respond in any way you like to both Barbie and the Witches of Scotland. Pink Witch holds the poems that answered that call. So I want you to all think about that, am I that name? It's what women, we have to ask ourselves, am I that name? And Barbie and the Witch seem to me to be of the same kind of categorical political import. This collection is dedicated to the memory of the thousands of people, mostly women, convicted of witchcraft and executed between 1563 and 1736 in Scotland. So what will happen this evening is we'll each read a couple of poems by ourselves and then by any absent contributor. Then we'll have a little chat about what the project means to us. Then we'll read a final poem, and then we're open for questions or informal chat afterwards. Okay, so the poem that I sent to my colleagues in 12 is the following. The first line is from Barbie, the rest is from The Witches of Scotland. My heels are on the ground. Are you ready to talk through the options to bail, then banish, or choke, then burn, or burn quick to the death, then toss what's left in the loch, or bury her face down, pressed under the tarp with old breeze blocks, the one who cast a garland of green woodbine into a fire, cast a madness, was seen riding a cat, was seen leading cats, washed a cat's feet in fishing bait water, was seen chasing cats, tied bones of the dead to the legs of cats, cast cats into the sea, and the cats swam out again, transferred birth pains to a cat, transferred sickness to a cat, rubbed the sick with the drippings of 4 or 5 roast kittens, cast a cat from the gate to the devil, bought a baton from the devil with a cat, baptized a cat. And the B word, we should have a word about that. Please don't mention it in social media. We're not really allowed to put that B word in the title of a book without risking massive litigation. So that's why the title is Pink Witch. So I'll read you Pink Witch, which was a response to coming to terms with capitalist copyright. Pink Witch, Pink Witch, just think, but also really feel witches in pink, choked then burned, pink barbiturate barbecued witches who wake up screaming, am I that name? I am that name. Think also, really feel, all those daughters of pink witches who reclaim the night, reclaim the pink name for witches. What does the barbide matte pink hammer of all witches try next? The fucker copyrights the name witch in all its pinkness, as if it's his own exclusive pink trademark, like it's his own exclusive pink thumbprint. Then he sues the fuck out of any pink witch who calls herself a pink witch. It's like queer bashers copyrighting queer, or neo-Nazis who copyright Jew. Pink witch will never be sedated. Pink witch will die screaming, I'm a pink witch, so fuck you. Okay, Alice Tarbuck can't be with us this evening, so I'm just going to read 2 wee short poems by her and then pass on to my colleagues. So here's the first with Alice's. Growing up, I told my old best friend the words to summon the fairy queen, and she was too afraid to utter them. We put her Barbie doll on the barbecue before her brother could. She broke her 2 front teeth on a pogo stick from me. Now she is a dentist. Husband, big house, 2 darling boys. It was a gift of destiny I gave her because she wouldn't use the magic and we'd melted everything else. This one really speaks to me. Very short poem, in which my therapist and I discuss my queerness. My mother disapproved of Barbie more. She disapproved of Ken. So when we were given Barbies, second-hand, all nude and lonely, they had to fuck the My Little Ponies again and again and again.
And then I'll start by reading the problem is. The problem is, for all your leggy slenderness, doll, you are not a form swinging your soft belly across creeks and rocks on lovely reaching limbs. And for all your coat-flapping darkness, old woman, you are not a crow swinging your soft belly across creeks and rocks on silent wings. The thing is, one of you is too stiff and immobile, too not human, but performing humanness in a mime of tiptoe ecstasy. And the other just reeks of black moors and predictions, and somehow also sex, and is made of too human stuff, and missing the of transformation. The deal is, a girl holds a Barbie doll up to the sky. The wind blows. The doll's bright hair spreads out around its head like a Catherine wheel. And this poem is called Charms for Older Women from Oceania. 1. Drink kawa kawa tea from an orange teapot for courage. 2. To prevent being taken for a witch, say metamorphosis each time they say shapeshifter. 3. Each time they say shapeshifter, say metamorphosis, and when they say shapeshifter again, then say okay. 4. When the wind currents circle the island and the sea thump, thump, thumps, say oyster catcher, say turn, say welcome swallow. Don't say kotaku. It's not the day for their oaring sacred flight. It's not the sky for them, so wait. 5. While you wait, eat the monkey nuts off the salty, fuzzy-leafed bushes for a childhood free from the cul-de-sacs of gender, even if your childhood is, you imagine, far behind you and full of endings. 6. For courage, as we all decay, say metamorphosis, say trouble, say out of my way. 7. Light a candle for calibration when you step out of the bushes. Light a candle for calibration when you step out of the bushes. And remember, you are never quite out of the bushes. 8. Put a stone at the sea's edge. Put a stone at the sea's edge. Put a stone at the sea's edge. 9. The sea's edge is fluid, metamorphotic. When you are there, you are not there, just like with us. There is no charm for this. 10. When they say decay, say transformation, say this next form, say folded wings and a spray of feathers. This poem I'm going to read is by Jennifer Williams, who sadly isn't here tonight. It's called Skin Wish. Because I wanted your skin so much, I wished mine away. Santa scared me in the Skoda, said my daughter. Why are all the doctors daddies, said my daughter. Why is daddy angry again, I asked my mother. Why are all the witches burning, said the scripture. Why are all the people fighting, my mother wondered. Why are you afraid to touch me, I asked my Barbie. Because you have no skin, she said, laughing.
And I'm going to start off with a poem by Annabel Hobson, who can't put in. She said she might come fitting. Let's see. Okay. Camline. A poet turned wine into camline, then into food desserts, then into reading all night, then into crossing the park. Then he turned the woman into another woman. What I love most about this project is hearing about how all the group used to play with their Barbies. There's been some great stories which people may be sharing. But this is my poem, As If They Yearned for a Beautiful Flame. I'm boiling my Barbies on the gas stove in a casserole dish. They have their sequin swimsuits on. They haven't a clue they are floating in sequin swimsuits. Oh, keep going. They haven't a clue they are floating in sequin swimsuits in a casserole dish. They haven't a clue they are innocent, that their hair is pink and wet, that their skin is skinless, their thighs bony and rubbish and soup. And then to finish, just a little poem about a toy cat, which is in response to James' poem at the start. Amongst the real life pink geraniums, my little doll-legged cat sits on the stones, licks its rubber shins and never hisses, and is helpless, and is a mad, mad pussycat. Thank you.
Oh, I'm Vic Shirley, and I wrote one fairly lengthy poem. So I'm going to read that, and I'm going to read a poem by Maria Sedmir. I'm going to read a poem by Alicia Mohammed as well. So I'll start with my poem, Which Barbie is Which? Which Barbie is which? Monica Lewinsky, not now. Crippling shame Barbie. Irrepressible thoughts of death Barbie. Get back in the box. Pursuit flashback. The smell of burning flesh. Are you shining? Mini baby. You failed me. Babies work hard and dream hard. Barbies die hard with a vengeance. Barbies die hard with a Ken in fur. Keenness in furs. Go back to your messed up world on fire. Ken radio turned up till our ears burst into flames and then puke out Beelzebub. Bulimic Barbie. Body dysmorphia Barbie. Breast ripper Barbie. Trauma Barbie. Scold's bridal Barbie. Satanic Barbie. Devil's mark Barbie. We'll meet the devil in the local kirkyard and paint him pink. Pain is pink and a right prick. You prick, she bleeds, but how? Existential crisis. X can kill. Crisis. Will you like me more if I'm burning? My screams sure look pretty. Note them down like a score and save them for later. Eye candy to nibble on. Fantasy popcorn. In Kendon land, the Barbies always burn and melt. Mansplaining Malcolmus to me before I die. Sublime. Play the guitar at me while I burn. Stare uncomfortably into my eyes for 4 minutes. Those Mojo Dojo casa houses just got dreamier. Without the warmth of your gaze, what was I made for? You were made to burn. Melting plastic. Maybe Barbie doesn't have an ending. Oh, she has an ending, right? I'm weird and dark and I'm crazy. Which doll? The one with her nails done. Hey Ken, did you do her nails? Oh yeah, I did them. Smashed them, picked them, pulled them, plucked them. Paid her thumb some attention too, then her neck. Barbie sleep deprived, hallucinating Barbie, blood curdling scream Barbie. I saw her on Cowgate, I saw her on Potter Row. She was sweating profusely, must have been her costume. Polyester bikini? Her muscles stretched by heels or the wheel. Ken is barbecuing Barbies, lining them up in a row, lining them up on the barbecue. Barbies queuing for a quick death Barbie. Barbies praying for a quick death Barbie. Danny Zuko, Rocky and Bill Clinton watch while Barbies burn. Ken applies the glaze and rotates them in the row. That's that one. And then I'll read Maria said Mills, choke cherry, cherry choke coke. Creepy as dead mink and breadsticks, pink to make the boys blink. Hair and crocodile chakras. Have they ever worked other desultory inquiries except for my heart, throat, narcosis of rosy nuance when I first heard this song of you, dancing with cognac tongue Circe. Have one for the girls, uplift jazz bouquet, culling their lonely furs. Men just have to be reassured. Very soft colours are unbecoming. That's Maria's, one of Maria's. Maria, I think, did Maria do the most? She did a lot, didn't she? I think Maria did many. And then this one is, Lisa Mahan's About Wonder. Clean lines, dream house pink, an open door, spilling out, posthumous justice. No walls or structure isn't a dream house all about wonder anyway. Painted sky, decal forest, and in it a creature, her mouth unmoving. Imagination casts a lavender sky, no electricity, enforced silence. It's enough to forget my own trembling biology, perfect until it isn't perfect, shapeless moss, a textile in the darkness, strange, a strange fragment of living art. Is it the box that makes the doll? My dream house is mimetic of a dreamed ancestral land. It is absurdist, one bright pink dot, holographic, effervescent in the real world. Thank you.
Barbie and the Witches, huh? What a theme. Such an honour to be a part of this anthology. Some incredible voices. And yes, what's that? Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to read a poem by Saskia McCracken. So that's not me.
It's called It Was a Coincidence. It was a coincidence that we became witches the year our bodies began to bud and bleed in chorus, evening primrose oil, undrunk older girls slipping as painkillers traded for silence. That we formed a coven as we put our dolls away, began to dress like them, crop tops and cherry lip gloss, the smell of burnt hair, that we smoked chamomile, danced naked that night, that we didn't write in our book of shadows, afraid to taint the white, that we swore by the power of three, became blood sisters clasping red palms the year he died. Our only spell with candles, chalk, ribbons, stolen wine was to each bless an amethyst, to carry it with us always, to keep us safe, to keep us safe. So I'm Jeanette Ayashi, there you go, Jane. And I'm going to read two of my poems at the moment. This one's called Barbie, Witches and Wiccan Dolls. I am the grand high witch Barbie, the wicked witch of the East Lothian belt Barbie. I come hemmed to all types of accessories, a spinning sylph that offers breath as bait, with a common ritual of sage, clove, and arsenic, pressed against my hidden hooves and fingertips. I bear the devil's mark, the stain of the patriarchs. Watch me seduce you with my dervish's hips. I have been dancing in a field at a pop-up festival under Drumlanrig Castle for 2 days, invoking a short intervention of bipolar possessives, you might say, such traumatic dates, a disco of fire pits, bar poisons, broken phones, and lunar light over my tits. I am a poppet, not a puppet doll, blind in my third eye. Many of my limbs have been pinned by society. Sometimes I swallow ecstasy and Copenhagen sunrises, summon Swedish boys and blonde seraphim, leave the libraries to moths, all my fantasies to sin. It was the summer of sloppy pagan prayers, summer fairs and hags shopping tote bags, plates of rainbow carrots and glazed sea green. I put out a call. Multidisciplinary artist who practices folk healing, miscarries pregnancies and paints poppies in her dream. I have been strangled, burnt, beheaded and hung, at least once in a lifetime. I deem a life of perennial philosophy and polyamorous love to disobey the sexual and biological maiden doves, the gold diggers who demand the construction of time. I am timeless, an archangel with a bottle of gin and no genitalia. Oh, conspiracy, paranoid ego, persecution, black dahlias, heroic exposure of out-of-sight orders. I am already a slave and only worship my ancestors when compelled to shadow. Shoot the messenger, don't shoot the messenger. There is value in non-radical forms of not knowing, resist the fight, for it gives height to spells and intuitions. I have been humanized and then human trafficked. My hair is braided, my skin is smooth enough to defy wrinkles and flames. Upon creation, my organ meat was fed to foxes. Each solar return, when Samhain strikes and the plastic veils of my cage become thinner, I retract my claws, draw a circle in the dust, step into the ring, for I am suborbital and feral. I am awake, ready to sing. And my last one is called Love Struck. The most attractive women are mostly mothers. Men here hobble, crease lines into drab denim, all dry-skinned elbows and ultraviolet sun kisses. They point through the leather of their shoes. A shimmery chic girl is more my fancy, and I dress in disguise to get in the queendom. Keep my animal close, my feet closer still, because how long before the albatross shrieks? You rise again, goddess, with irises like the Aegean Sea, with your cheap restoration and ancient love melodies. blunt arrowheads and goblin men in tweed. In the bar, framed prints hang in creaking silence. Slow circles are sipped into strip-searched pints, and televised witch hunts flicker in static as the steely dark outside turns glass into a mirror. Pub babble chains around my ankles with its hiss. Nacre bubbles in the vodka optic chortle. Then families come out for meals, flock through car parks and corridors like migrating birds, as the waitress sets fire to the candles and they become rows of crofts destroyed during the Highland clearances. She moves so slowly that her face becomes a mask that is only lifted to sing along to pop songs. Later still that night, after Tombstone and Trek, you shut down the bar and follow me to your home, where in the dip of the mattress we slacken into our first quarrel. How the heart sags after argument, when sometimes love ruptures, is stabbed at with pins, throws objects across a room when no one is looking, terrorizing and quick like a poltergeist. November swings on its hinges, and the year before us sends haptic feedback. Thank you.
So perhaps we can all just come up and share the mic, take turns of the mic to say what the project has meant to us, and then I'll get everybody to read just one more poem. Is that okay? I'll start by saying, for me, I must thank Main Point Books who are represented here tonight. Thank you so much for believing in the project, and from having the idea in September to publishing it in April. That's really good timing. So thank you very much. For me, it's a really serious matter of supporting the Witches of Scotland project and remembering properly and doing justice to all those people who lost their lives and were persecuted, and remembering that Castle Esplanade, where the military puts on its displays every year, you know, men marching up and down from that Castle Esplanade, that's the site of genocide, it's murder of hundreds of people. And you know, so there is a really serious matter behind this project. Who knows what damage that copyrighted name doll has done to women, children all over the world. And what heartens me is the way that, given any sort of negative name, that those saddled with it can turn it round, whether that's queer or witch or woman, or indeed Barbie. And I'd like to thank my fellow poets for showing how that can be done. So perhaps we could all just come up and say a quick word about what the project meant for you doing it, and then we'll each have a poem at the end. Okay.
I'm there. See.
Occurring with titles. I was just thinking about how when I first came to Scotland, to Edinburgh, and I was discovering the history of the witches here, and I went and had a look at the, you know, the forecourt of the castle, and I had heard that there was a memorial to the witches somewhere, and I was looking around for it all over the place, and it was very hidden. And I had to find out from somebody where it actually was. In the meantime, I was looking at the other things, at the other statues, and with all these, you know, men on astride horses with pillars, you know, aloft things in their hands, and it seemed like they were very sure about what they were kind of memorializing. And this, when I found this little slightly muddled monument to the Witches of Scotland, I thought, you know, it didn't really know what it was supposed to be doing. So I got to listening to the podcast of the Witches of Scotland campaign and was just so impressed by what they were doing and how real they were being about these women who were killed ostensibly as witches. And yeah, so for me, the prompts were prompts to do with movement, you know, away from those paralyzing extremes of so-called womanhood, the Barbie doll and the witch, and bringing us back to something a bit more real. So it was lovely to be writing into that movement. I really appreciate it.
And I always just love writing with 12. I think the Barbie projects, I just really enjoyed the imagery that came up in our Google documents. There were lots of, I don't know, bodies, dolls, clay, witches, projection, what it's like to be a body, the artifice of the body, the constraints of the body, the way we can, you know, pull a body apart. It was just the imagery that we all kind of came up with in this book, to win, was just such a joy to play with. It was visceral, it was bloody, it was violent, there was also a lot of tenderness, and so it's all these qualities that were just great to play with. Yeah, play with language, Barbies, which.
Way that we were working on live Google, so Google had common dom, right? And so we all got to see everyone's work as they were writing it. So it was interesting to see, I guess, being on the same brief, having the same ideas, being all women, all writing for Scotland today, all individually having our own voices, and then actually seeing a lot of intrinsic psychic synchronicities within the language, within where we took it. We put a lot of melting and barbecue Barbies there. The fire that what were those two, what made them different, what made them similar, to play with that, to hear everyone's voice, and just to be part of the collective. I really love working collaboratively. I think it opens up that pocket of my cerebral that I don't usually, when I'm isolated, I wouldn't tap into. And then someone else just sparks that open, and I'm like, wow, there's so much our brain can use. And yet when we share our consciousness on this one book, yes. So it's a great book to be continued. Yes.
Yes, I came in quite late to the project. It was very honoured and pleased to be writing with all these ladies, and the instructions that we sort of, the prompt that we had was to research the project and to watch the film The B Word. Yeah, I mean I think the part for me, well, as I started researching which is Scotland project, was the map that you actually see where these women who were murdered lived, and I live in central Edinburgh, just here, and just sort of seeing the exact roads where these women, these women actually lived. That really sort of got to me, and then sort of taking that in and then thinking about that, and then watching film. Yeah, it is all a bit of a heady mix, and the poem ended up sort of writing itself, really. I'm going to read one more poem by Maria Sedner, and then I will hand over to everyone else to read their final poems. This poem is Stereotype. I was sleep demon to the president. I was doing my best to stay present. My smile was a pristine whalebone, perfecting the oceanic corsetry of ancestral Suspiria. Took secret empathy meds and drowned out the haters. Everybody knows my name. Everybody knows I'm nameless. Nobody's only tsunami. Nobody's heavenly. Everybody is inside me.
Two short poems. This Barbie is underground and made of lake. What does a lake ache of, Barbie? What can we make of this city's lake ache? This Barbie is underground and made of lake. What is worse than melting into butter at the stake, or into icing for a day-glow wedding cake?
Hard on the heels of the witch. At the edge of the lake, the Barbie, one pale foot sticking out of mud, a swatch of wheat-coloured hair, thumbprints across its face and legs that could be wrenched back and forth to make her walk. She was the dolliest doll any girl ever had. The halts and hesitations when getting pencil-thin synthetic sleeves past sharp little hands, so frustrating. Well, look at her now. What a mess. Sunk in the muddy rim of the lake, where the more decomposed drowned could almost seem to stare through her wide blue unblinking eyes, could almost seem to talk.
This is called The Vindication of the Rights of Witches. When we put down our Barbies, we become bitches. After we exorcise the bitch in the house, we become witches. Our mouths are taped and we are censored. Our lips are only unstrapped for kisses. So bound by a harem of morning kirk calls and a midnight community of clay footprints, under a surge of menstrual moon tides, we band together all our lost Barbies and let the witches assemble their souls to alchemize the sisterhood, sister, and create a coven of powerful nurture. We are magicians, spiritualists, healers, not born to be haunted or hunted, chased or conquered. We are stray cats in heat, fiddling with frequencies. And when the yellow gorse on the crag dies and a raven mounts its crooked branches, we are Mother Nature in all her glory and surprise.
Thank you, Lighthouse Books, for hosting us. This is Pink Witch. It's available for sale in Lighthouse Books. Oh, more glasses. This is called Barbie's All Right. Barbie's all right. It's a foreign policy I can't stand. Querulous bitch. If poetry lives in the voice, if poetry is all reading and language and paying attention, what's the problem with writing abroad? I've been seeing things and breathing heavily. Who said borrowed nostalgia can be feculent? I want my interface highly nested with a mirror door. I want to leave highlights you can mouse over without any disquiet. Ambiguity may come too quickly to quibble. He'll tell you one thing, it's a cruel, cruel world. He'll tell you another. He'll tell you another. It's fun to be on the edge. It's fun to be on the edge. Yeah, it's clear he's never cruised in the Trossachs in pissing rain on some gloomy loch, famed in its third canto for igniting the clansman's fiery cross. Is this all too opaque? Is that someone's thick neck blocking your view? I'm so in love with frequent obscurity. To be quickly lost requires technique. I need that early morning quickness to be so oblique. The copula is the most frequent verb, all quivering lid and squint of eye, that's me. How do you squeal so quietly among these quality socks and breeze blocks? Everyone hears a gangster. Listen. He also says, listen to Noam Chomsky, get the Howard Zinn. Yeah, so I've been seeing things and breathing heavily. Tell me, what's that coming out of the water? Who's that witch waving her blade? Any questions? Or like that any sort of burning questions to ask any one of us? We're running out of time.
No, I was just going to say you can have more time in the garden if you like, over and do Q&As in the chat format.
Yeah.
Well, there's one.
Maybe.
That'd be right. Okay, shall we return to the garden? Shall we? Okay.